What's up, what's up, what's up? How you doing today? It's been a splendid day, truly. One where I got a bunch done, not a lot done at the same time. One where I talked to a lot of people and I felt like I didn't talk to enough. Just one of those days. You know, it's one of those right in the middle kind of days. But not in the type of way where it's like just right. It's that I wanted more and less. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't have to. Fun fact, sometimes things happen to you, things happen to other people. People say things, people do things, whatever it may be, and it won't always make sense. It won't. You could sit there and spend hours figuring it out, and eventually you might get a little bit closer. Maybe you might even figure it out. But if you tried to spend that level of time and energy trying to make sense of absolutely everything, you would spend all of your time thinking about the past and all the things happening to you, and you would miss everything that's happening now and everything that's going to happen in the future. I know I talk about everything happens for a reason, but it's not always me pursuing that reason. Sometimes I leave it at that. Sometimes I just say, that happened for some reason. Interesting. And then I let it go and I move on. And then maybe later I'll have this aha moment where I say, oh, that's why that was important. That's why I needed that moment to happen. Like, for example, fun fact for you, I recently got pulled over. Yep, I got pulled over because it just so happened that a police officer pulled up behind me while we were on the highway and just typed in my license plate and realized that my registration was expired, which is not a great thing, especially if I were to get into an accident or something like that. And so I could sit there and kick and scream and whine and complain that, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got pulled over. I can't believe, I got a ticket, all that stuff. But I chose to look at it a little differently. I asked myself, okay, why is this happening? Why did it happen? And think of the alternative. What if I did get into an accident? What would have happened then? It would have been much, much worse had I not had that up-to-date registration. And maybe getting that ticket, getting pulled over, was the only way for that to be resolved. Because I could tell you this, right? I could complain about the ticket, or I could realize I drove with an unregistered car for almost a month or over a month, right? That's not good. It's not a good thing, right? Fixed now, everything's handy dandy. And I also know that had I not been pulled over, I would have continued to do that because I didn't even have on my mind to check it. That's the type of reframe that I'm talking about here. Things happening for a reason. Because, of course, I could sit here and complain. I'm not going to. Because at the end of the day, I say everything happens for a reason. And maybe it's these things I just told you or something completely different. I don't know. And that's not the point. The point is not for me to know for sure. The point is for me to come up with ideas in order to see how life is happening for me. It's so important to believe that life is happening for you, because then it doesn't feel like you're against the world. It feels like you're working with it. Even if you're going through tough times, even if something challenging is happening in your life, you see it as the world giving to you. You see it as the world blessing you, helping you, promoting growth, sharing love, experiencing love, whatever it is. The world is giving. It may just be in a way that is different to you. It's not what you would call love immediately, or what you would call giving or growth or help or health or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you could see it like this, if you could have that reframe in your mind, things will start making sense. They will. I went on this tangent to say that if you constantly look for these reasons, right, you're going to miss what's happening in the moment now. Part of this discussion and this realization that I had earlier was not in the moment. Well, part of it was in the moment, but a lot of it happened later. It happened later after the fact. Not because I was heavily thinking of it, but because, in talking to other people, they gave me ideas. They showed me that I could think a little bit differently. And maybe it's not even that they showed me, they just said something that reminded me of who I'm trying to be, how I'm trying to act, how I'm trying to think, right? So sometimes it's not even that the people around you will give you your answers. Sometimes the people around you will just remind you of who you are and who you want to be, and that will give you your answer. That will help you understand. That will help you make things make sense. Make it make sense. That's a choice. It's a choice to need things to make sense. There is this bliss also that happens when you learn to really let go. Right? When you let go of needing the answer, of needing something to happen in some way, of needing some person to think something about you, you experience this sense of freedom, this sense of bliss, where you know where you stand, you know who you are, and nothing will shake that. I want you to experience that level of freedom because to me, that is also a type of flavor of love. When I talk about experiencing love, I talk about all the different ways you could experience love. Whether that's joy, whether that's intimacy, whether that's excitement, whether that's pleasure, whether that's laughter, whether that's freedom. There's so many ways to feel love, even more than I've just explained, described. There's so many ways to see love, to give love, to share love, to notice love, to appreciate love. And that's what I do on this show every day, showing up, reminding myself and you about the love that we all have inside. It's not something you have to go out and find. It's something you have to bring out and give. And the more you give, the more you feel. Trust. 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 Anyways, if you enjoy this type of episode, if you enjoy this content, I would really, really appreciate it if you would leave a like, even subscribe. Those things really let me know that this is resonating with you. It's landing. Half the time I'm just speaking my mind, just throwing things at a wall and seeing what sticks, right? So let me know what sticks with you. Let me know what works, what doesn't. Let me know if you disagree, because I know that there will be some points that don't click. And I'm curious, because maybe I could help explain, or maybe you'll be right. Or maybe both. We'll see. So until then, just remember to always fill up with the love. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I love you.